Everybody loves somebody sometime. Everybody falls in love somehow. Something your kiss just told me my sometime is now. Everybody finds somebody.
What do you do when you're not sure? That's the topic of my sermon today. You look for God's direction and can't find it. Last year, when President Kennedy was assassinated, who among us did not experience the most profound disorientation? Despair. What now? Which way? What do I say to my kids? What do I tell myself? It was a time of people sitting together, bound together by a common feeling of hopelessness. But think of that. Your bond with your fellow beings was your despair. It was a public experience shared by everyone in our society. It was awful, but we were in it together. How much worse is it then for the lone man, the lone woman stricken by a private calamity? No one knows I'm sick. No one knows I've lost my last real friend. No one knows I've done something wrong. Imagine the isolation. You see the world as through a window. On the one side of the glass, happy, untroubled people. But on the other side, you. Something has happened. You have to carry it, and it's incommunicable. For those so afflicted, only God knows their pain. Their secret. The secret of their alienating sorrow. And when such a person, as they must, howls to the sky, to God, help me! What if no answer comes? Silence. I want to tell you a story. A cargo ship sank, and her crew was drowned. Only this one sailor survived. He made a raft of some spars, and being of a nautical discipline, he turned his eyes to the heavens and read the stars. He set a course for home, and exhausted, he fell asleep. Clouds rolled in, blanketed the sky. For the next 20 nights, as he floated along the vast ocean, he could no longer see the stars. He thought he was on course, but there was no way to be certain. As the days rolled on, and he wasted away with fever, thirst, and starvation, he began to have doubts. Had he set his course right? Was he continuing on towards his home? Or was he horribly lost and doomed to a terrible death? No way to know. But the message of the constellations, had he imagined it because of his desperate circumstance? Or had he seen the truth once and now had to hold on to it without further reassurance? That was his dilemma on a voyage without apparent end. There are those of you in church today who know exactly the crisis of faith I describe. I want to say to you, doubt can be a bond as powerful and sustaining as certainty. When you are lost, you are not alone. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Come in.
Have you a moment, Sister Aloysius?
Come in, Sister James. Who's watching your class?
They're having art.
Art. Waste of time.
It's only an hour a week.
Much can be accomplished in 60 minutes.
Yes, Sister Aloysius. I wondered if I might know what you did about William London.
I sent him home.
Oh dear, so he's still bleeding?
Oh yes.
His nose just let loose and started gushing during the Pledge of Allegiance.
Was it spontaneous?
What else would it be?
Self-induced.
You mean you think he might have intentionally given himself a nosebleed?
Exactly.
No.
You are a very innocent person, Sister James. William London is a fidgety boy, and if you do not keep right on him, he will do anything to escape his chair, that Boy would set his foot on fire for half a day out of school.
But why?
He has a restless mind.
But that's good.
No, it's not. His father's a policeman, and the last thing he wants is a rowdy boy. William London is headed for trouble. Puberty has got hold of him. Soon he'll be imagining all the wrong things, and I strongly suspect he will not graduate high school, but that's beyond our jurisdiction. We simply have to get him through, out the door, and then he's somebody else's project. Ordinarily, I assign my most experienced sisters to 8th grade, but I'm working within constraints. Are you in control of your class?
I think so.
Usually more children are sent down to me.
I try to take care of things myself.
That can be an error. You are answerable to me. I to the Monsignor, he to the Bishop, and so on up to the Holy Father. There's a chain of discipline. Make use of it.
Yes, sister.
How is Donald Muller doing?
Steady.
Good. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Good. That girl, Linda Conti. Have you seated her away from the boys?
As far as space permits. But it doesn't do much good.
Just get her through. Intact.
So, should I go? Is something the matter?
No. Why? Is something the matter?
I don't think so.
Then nothing's the matter then.
Well, thank you, sister. I just wanted to check on William's nose.
He had a ballpoint pen.
Excuse me, sister?
William London had a ballpoint pen. He was fiddling with it while he waited for his mother. He's not using it for assignments, I hope.
No, of course not.
I'm sorry I allowed even cartridge pens into this school. The students should only be learning script with true fountain pens. Always the easy way out these days. What does that teach? Every easy choice today will have its consequence tomorrow, mark my words.
Yes, sister.
Ballpoints make them press down, and when they press down, they write like monkeys.
I don't allow them ballpoint pens.
Good. Penmanship is dying all across the country. You have some time. Sit down. We might as well have a talk. I've been meaning to talk to you. I observed your lesson on the New Deal at the beginning of the term. Not bad, but I caution you. Do not idealize Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was a good president, but he did attempt to pack the Supreme Court. I do not approve of making heroes of lay historical figures. If you want to talk about saints, do it in religion.
Yes, sister.
Also, I question your enthusiasm for history.
But I love history.
That is exactly my meaning. You favor it and risk swaying the children to value it over their other subjects. I think this is a mistake.
I never thought of that. I'll try to treat my other lessons with more enthusiasm.
No. Give them their history without putting sugar all over it. That's the point. Now, tell me about your class. How would you characterize the condition of 8B?
I don't know where to begin. What do you want to know?
Let's begin with Stephen Inzio.
Stephen Inzio has the highest marks in class.
Noreen Horan.
Second highest marks.
Brenda McNulty.
Third highest.
You see, I am making a point, Sister James. I know that Stephen Inzio, Noreen Horan, and Brenda McNulty are 1, 2, and 3 in your class. School-wide, there are 48 such students each grade period. I make it my business to know all 48 of their names. I do not say this to aggrandize myself, but to illustrate the importance of paying attention. You must pay attention as well.
Yes, sister.
I cannot be everywhere.
Am I falling short, sister?
These 3 students with the highest marks, are they the most intelligent children in your class?
No, I wouldn't say they are. But they do work the hardest.
Very good. That's right. That's the ethic. What good's a gift if it's left in the box? What good is a high IQ if you're staring out the window with your mouth agape? Be hard on the bright ones, Sister James. Don't be charmed by cleverness, not theirs and not yours. I think you are a competent teacher, Sister James, but maybe not our best teacher. The best teachers do not perform. They cause the students to perform.
Do I perform?
As if on a Broadway stage.
Oh dear, I had no conception.
You're showing off. You like to see yourself 10 feet tall in their eyes. Another thing occurs to me. Where were you before?
Mount St. Margaret's.
All girls.
Yes.
I feel I must remind you. Boys are made of gravel, soot, and tar paper. Boys are a different breed.
I feel I know how to handle
But
them.
perhaps you are wrong, and perhaps you are not working hard enough.
Oh,
No tears.
I thought you were satisfied with me.
Satisfaction is a vice. Do you have a handkerchief?
Yes.
Use it. Do you think Socrates was satisfied? Good teachers are never content. We have some 372 students in this school. It is a society which requires constant educational, spiritual, and human vigilance. I cannot afford an excessively innocent instructor in my 8th grade class that's self-indulgent. Innocence is a form of laziness. Innocent teachers can be easily duped. You must be canny, Sister James.
Yes, sister.
When William London gets a nosebleed, be skeptical. Don't let a little blood fuddle your judgment. God gave you a brain and a heart. The heart is warm, but your wits must be cold. Liars should be frightened to lie to you. They should be uncomfortable in your presence. I doubt they are.
I don't know. I never thought about that.
Children should think you see right through them.
Wouldn't that be a little frightening?
Only to the ones who are up to no good.
But I want my students to feel that they can talk to me.
They're children. They can talk to each other. It's more important they have a fierce moral guardian. You stand at the door, sister. You are the gatekeeper. If you are vigilant, they will need not to be.
I'm not sure what you want me to do.
And if things occur in your classroom which you sense require understanding but you do not understand, come to me.
Yes, sister.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm principal of the school. Do you stay when the specialty instructors come in?
Yes.
But you're here now with the art classes going on.
Well, I was a little concerned about William's nose.
Right. So you have art in class.
She comes in, Mrs. Bell. Yes.
And you take them down to the basement for dance with Mrs. Shields.
On Thursdays.
Another waste of time.
But everyone loves the Christmas pageant.
I don't love it. Frankly, it offends me. Last year, the girl playing Our Lady was wearing lipstick. I was waiting in the wings for that little jade.
Then there's music.
That strange woman with the portable piano. What's wrong with her neck?
Some kind of goiter. Poor woman.
Yes, Mrs. Carolyn.
That's right.
We used to have a sister teaching that. Not enough sisters. What else?
Physical education and religion.
And for those, we have Father Flynn. 2 hours a week. And you stay for those?
Mostly. Unless I have reports to fill out.
What do you think of Father Flynn?
Oh, he's a brilliant man. What a speaker.
Yes, his sermon this past Sunday was poetic.
He's actually very good, too, at teaching basketball. I was surprised. I wouldn't think a man of the cloth the personality type for basketball. But he has a way. He's very natural with dribbling and shooting.
What do you think that sermon was about?
What?
This past Sunday. What was he talking about?
Well, doubt. He was talking about doubt.
Why?
Excuse me, sister?
Well, sermons come from somewhere, don't they? Is Father Flynn in doubt? Is he concerned that somebody else is in doubt?
I suppose you'd have to ask him.
No, that would not be appropriate. He is my superior. And if he were troubled, he should confess it to a fellow priest or the Monsignor. We do not share intimate information with priests.
I am a little concerned.
About what?
The time. Our class will be over in a few minutes. I should go up.
Have you noticed anything, Sister James?
About what?
I want you to be alert.
I don't think I'm following you, sister.
I'm sorry I'm not more forthright, but I must be careful not to create something simply by saying it. I can only say that I am concerned, perhaps needlessly, about matters in St. Nicholas School.
Academically?
I wasn't inviting a guessing game. I want you to pay attention to your class.
Well, of course I'll pay attention to my class, sister. And I'll try not to perform. And I'll try to be less innocent. I'm sorry you're disappointed in me. Please understand, I will try my best, honestly.
Look at you. You'd trade anything for a warm look. I'm I'm telling you here and now, I want to see the starch in your character cultivated. If you look for reassurance, you can be fooled. If you forget yourself and study others, you cannot be fooled. It's important. One final matter, and then you really must get back. Sister Veronica is going blind.
Oh, how horrible!
This is not generally known, and I don't want it known. If they find out in the rectory she'll be gone, I cannot afford to lose her. But now, if you see her making her way down those stone stairs in the courtyard, for the love of heaven, lightly take her hand as if in fellowship and see that she doesn't destroy herself. All right. Go.
All right, settle down, boys. Now, the thing about shooting from the foul line, it's psychological. The rest of the game, you're cooperating with your teammates, you're competing against the other team, but at the foul line, it's you against yourself. And the danger is, you start to think. And when you think, you stop breathing, your body locks up. So, you have to remember to relax. Take a breath. Unlock your knees. This is something for you to watch, Jimmy. You stand like a parking meter. Come up with a routine of what you do. Shift your weight. Move your hips. You think this is funny, Ralph? What's funny is you never making a foul shot. Don't worry if you look silly. They won't think you're silly if you get the basket. Come up with a routine. Concentrate on the routine, and you'll forget to get tensed up. Now, on another matter, I've noticed several of you boys have dirty fingernails. I don't want to see that. I'm not talking about the length of your nails, I'm talking about cleanliness. See, look at my nails. They're long. I like them a little long, but look how clean they are. That makes it okay. There was a kid I grew up with, Timmy Matheson. He never had clean nails. He'd always stick his fingers up his nose and in his mouth. Hey, this is a true story. Learn to listen. He got spinal meningitis and died a horrible death. Sometimes it's the little things that get you. If you try to talk to a girl with those filthy paws, Mr. Conroy, she is going to take off like she's being chased by the Red Chinese. You guys, what am I going to do with you? Go get dressed, come over to the rectory, we'll have some Kool-Aid and cookies, and we'll have a bull session. Go!
Good afternoon, Sister Aloysius.
Good afternoon, Sister James. Mr. McGinn pruned this bush, which was the right thing to do, but he neglected to protect the roots from the frost.
Have we had a frost?
When it comes, it's too late.
You know about gardening?
A little. Where is your class?
The girls are having music.
And the boys?
They're in the rectory.
With Father Flynn.
Yes. He's giving them a talk.
On what subject?
How to be a man?
Well, if sisters were permitted in the rectory, I would be interested to hear that talk. I don't know how to be a man. I'd like to know what's involved. Have you ever given the girls a talk on how to be a woman?
No. I wouldn't be competent.
Why not?
I just don't think I would. I took my vows at the beginning. At the beginning.
The founder of our order, the Blessed Mother Seton, was married and had 5 children before embarking on her vows.
I often wondered how she managed so much in one life.
Life is perhaps longer than you think. And the dictates of the soul more numerous. I was married.
You were?
You could at least hide your astonishment.
I didn't know.
When one takes on the habit, one must close the door on secular things. My husband was killed in the war against Adolf Hitler.
Really? Excuse me, sister.
But I'm like you. I'm not sure I would feel competent to lecture tittering girls on the subject of womanhood. I don't come into this garden often. What is it, 40 feet across? The convent here, the rectory there, we might as well be separated by the Atlantic Ocean. I used to potter around out here, but Monsignor Benedict does his reverie at quixotic times, and we are rightly discouraged from crossing paths with priests unattended. He is 79, but nevertheless.
The Monsignor. He's very good, isn't he?
Yes, but he is oblivious.
To what?
I don't believe he knows who's president of the United States. I mean him no disrespect, of course. It's just that he's otherworldly in the extreme.
Is it that he's innocent, Sister Aloysius?
You have a slyness at work, Sister James. Be careful of it. How was your class? How's Donald Muller?
He's 13th in class.
I know. That's sufficient. Is he being accepted?
He has no friends.
That would be a lot to expect after only 2 months. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Someone will. And when they do, send them right down to me.
I'm not so sure anyone will.
There's a statue of St. Patrick on one side of the church altar and a statue of St. Anthony on the other. This parish serves Irish and Italian families. Someone will hit Donald Muller.
He has a protector.
Who?
Father Flynn.
What?
He's taken an interest since Donald went on the altar boys. I thought I should tell you.
I told you to come to me, but I hoped you never would.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
I knew once you did, something would be set in motion. So it's happened.
What? I'm not telling you that. I'm not even at all certain what you mean.
Yes, you are.
I've been trying to become more cold in my thinking, as you suggested. It feels as if I've lost my way a little, Sister Aloysius. I had the most terrible dream last night. I want to be guided by you and responsible to the children, but I want my peace of mind. I must tell you, I've been longing for the return of my peace of mind.
You may not have it. It's not your place to be complacent. That's for the children. That's what we give them.
I think I'm starting to understand you a little. But it's so unsettling to look at things and people with suspicion. It feels as if I'm less close to God.
When you take a step to address wrongdoing, you are taking a step away from God, but in His service. Dealing with such matters is hard and thankless work.
I've become more reserved in class. It feels as if I'm separated from the children.
That's as it should be.
But I feel wrong. And about this other matter, I don't have any evidence. I'm not at all certain anything's happened.
We can't wait for that.
But what if it's nothing?
Then it's nothing. I wouldn't mind being wrong, but I doubt I am.
Then what's to be done?
I don't know.
You'll know what to do.
I don't know what to do. There are parameters which protect him and hinder me.
But he can't be safe if it's established. I doubt he could recover from the shame.
What have you seen?
I don't know.
What have you seen?
He took Donald to the rectory.
What for?
A talk.
Alone?
Yes.
When?
A week ago.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It never came into my mind that there could be anything wrong.
Of all the students, Donald Muller. I suppose it makes sense.
How does it make sense?
He's isolated. The little sheep lagging behind is the one the wolf goes for.
I don't know that anything's happened.
Our first Negro student. I thought there'd be fighting, a parent or two to deal with. I should have foreseen this possibility.
How could you imagine it?
It's my job to outshine the fox in cleverness. That's my job.
But maybe it's nothing.
Then why do you look like you've seen the devil?
It's just the way the boy looked when he returned to class.
He said something.
No. It was his expression. He looked frightened and he put his head on the desk in the most peculiar way. And one other thing. I think there was alcohol on his breath. There was alcohol on his breath.
"8 years ago at St. Boniface, we had a priest who had to be stopped. But I had Monsignor Scully then, whom I could rely on. Here, there's no man I can go to, and men run everything. We're going to have to stop him ourselves."
Can't you just report your suspicions?
"To Monsignor Benedict. The man's guileless. He would just ask Father Flynn.
Would that be such a bad idea?
And he would believe whatever Father Flynn told him. He would think the matter settled."
Then maybe that's all that needs to be done. If it's true. If I'd done something awful and been confronted about it, I'd be so repentant.
Sister James, my dear, you must try to imagine a very different kind of person than yourself. A man who would do this is already denied a great deal. If I tell the Monsignor and he is satisfied with Father Flynn's rebuttal, then the matter is suppressed.
Well, then tell the bishop.
The hierarchy of the church does not permit my going to the bishop. No. Once I tell the Monsignor, it's out of my hands. I'm helpless. I'm going to have to come up with a pretext, get Father Flynn in my office, and try to force it. You will have to be there.
Me? No, sister, I couldn't.
I can't be closeted with a priest alone. Another sister must be in attendance, and it has to be you. The circle of confidence mustn't be made any wider. Think of the boy if this gets out.
I can't do it.
Why not? You're squeamish.
I'm not equipped. I would be embarrassed. I couldn't possibly be present if the topic were spoken of.
Please, sister, do not indulge yourself in witless adolescent scruples. I assure you I would prefer a more seasoned confederate. But you are the one who came to me.
You told me to.
Would you rather leave the boy to be exploited? I don't think this will be the only story. If you close your eyes, you will be a party to all that comes after.
You're supposed to tell the Monsignor.
That you saw a look in a boy's eye? That perhaps you smelled something on his breath? Monsignor Benedict thinks the sun rises and sets on Father Flynn. You'd be branded hysteric and transferred.
We can ask him.
Who?
The boy, Donald Muller.
He'll deny it.
Why?
Shame.
You can't know that.
And if he does point the finger, how do you think that would be received in this community? A black child? No. I will think this through. Then I will invite Father Flynn to my office on an unrelated matter. You will be there.
But what good can I do?
Aside from the unacceptability of a priest and nun being alone, I need a witness.
To what?
He may tell the truth first and lie afterwards.
The boys are coming out of the rectory. They look happy enough.
They look smug, like they have a secret.
There he is.
If I could, Sister James, I would certainly choose to live in innocence. But innocence can only be wisdom in a world without evil. Situations arise, and we are confronted with wrongdoing and the need to act.
I have to take the boys back up to class.
Go on, then. Take them. I will be talking to you. St. Nicholas School. Mr. McGinn, thank you for calling back. Yes, that was quite a windstorm we had last night. No, I didn't know there was a great wind in Ireland and you were there for it. That's fascinating. Yes, I was wondering if you would be so kind as to remove a tree limb that's fallen in the courtyard of the church. Sister Veronica tripped over it this morning and fell on her face. I think she's all right. She doesn't look any worse, Mr. McGinn. Thank you, Mr. McGinn.
Good morning, Sister Aloysius. How are you today?
Good morning, Father Flynn. Very well. Good of you to come by.
Are we ready to start the meeting?
We're just short, Sister James. Did you hear that wind last night?
I certainly did. Could you imagine what it must have been like in the frontier days? When a man, alone in the woods, sat by a fire in his buckskins and listened to a sound like that. Imagine the loneliness, the immense darkness pressing in. How frightening that must have been.
If one lacked faith in God's protection, I suppose it would be frightening.
Did I hear Sister Veronica had an accident?
Yes. Sister Veronica tripped over a piece of wood this morning and practically killed herself.
Is she all right?
She's fine.
Her sight isn't good, is it?
Her sight is fine. Nuns fall, you know.
No, I did not know that.
It's the habit. It catches us up more often than not. What with our being in black and white and so prone to falling, we're more like dominoes than anything else.
Am I past the time?
Oh, not at all. Sister Aloysius and I were just having a nice chat.
Good morning, Father Flynn. Good morning, sister. I'm sorry I was delayed. Mr. McGinn has closed the courtyard to fix something, so I had to go back through the convent and out the side door. And then I ran into Sister Veronica.
Oh, how is she?
She has a bit of a bloody nose.
I'm beginning to think you're punching people.
Sister?
Well, after the incident with... Never mind. Well, come in. Please sit down. I actually have a hot pot of tea. Would you like a cup of tea, Father?
I would love a cup of tea. Thank you, Sister.
Perhaps you could serve him, Sister?
Of course.
And yourself, of course.
Would you like tea, Sister Aloysius?
I've already had my cup.
Is there sugar?
Sugar. Yes. Oh, it's here somewhere. I put it in the drawer for Lent last year and never remembered to take it out.
It mustn't have been much to give up then.
No, I'm sure you're right. Here it is. I'll serve you, though for want of practice, your fingernails.
I wear them a little long. The sugar?
Yes, 1,
3.
3.
Sweet tooth.
1, 2, 3. Sister, do you take sugar?
Never. Not that there's anything wrong with sugar. Thank you, sister.
Well, Father, thank you for making the time for us. We're at our wits' end.
I think it's an excellent idea to rethink the Christmas pageant. Last year's effort was a little woebegone.
No, I loved it. But I love all Christmas pageants. I just love the Nativity, and the birth of our Savior, and the hymns, of course. O little town of Bethlehem, O come, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Sister James. Sister James will be co-directing the pageant this year with Mrs. Shields. So, what do you think, Father? Is there something new we could do?
Well, we all love the Christmas hymns, but I think it might be jolly to include a secular song.
Secular?
Yes, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, something like that.
What would be the point of performing a secular song?
Fun.
Or Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, that's a good one. We could have one of the boys dress up as a snowman. He could dance around the stage.
Which boy?
We'd do tryouts.
Frosty the Snowman espouses a pagan belief in magic. The snowman comes to life when an enchanted hat is placed on its head. If the music were more somber, people would realize the images are disturbing and the song heretical.
I never thought of Frosty the Snowman like that.
It should be banned from the airwaves.
So, not Frosty the Snowman.
I don't think so. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas would be fine, I suppose. The parents would like it. May I ask what you just wrote down with that ballpoint pen?
Oh, nothing. Just an idea for a sermon.
You had one just now?
I get them all the time.
How fortunate.
I forget them, so I write them down.
What is the idea?
Intolerance.
Would you like some more tea, Father?
Not yet. I think a message of the Second Ecumenical Council is that the church needs to take on a more familiar face, reflect the local community. We should sing a song from the radio now and then. Maybe take the kids out for ice cream.
Ice cream.
Perhaps take the boys on a camping trip. We should be friendlier. The children and their parents should see us as members of their family rather than emissaries from Rome. I think the pageant should be charming, like a community theater doing a show.
But we are not members of their family. We're different.
Why? Because of our vows?
Precisely.
I don't think we're so different. You know, sister, I will take some more tea, thank you.
And they think we're different. The working class people of this parish trust us to be different.
I think we're getting off subject.
Yes, you're right. Back to it. The Christmas pageant. We must be careful how Donald Muller is used in the pageant.
Oh, easy, sister, you don't spill.
Oh, yes, Father.
What about Donald Muller?
We must be careful in the pageant that we neither hide Donald Muller nor put him forward.
Because of the color of his skin?
That's right.
Why?
Come, Father, you're being disingenuous.
I think he should be treated like every other boy.
You yourself singled the boy out for special attention. You held a private meeting with him in the rectory a week ago.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Donald Muller?
The boy acted strangely when he returned to class.
He did.
When he returned from the rectory. A little odd, yes.
Can you tell us why?
Well, how did he act strangely?
I'm not sure how to explain it. He put his head on the desk, and...
You mean you had some impression?
Yes.
And he'd come from the rectory, so you're asking me if I know anything about it.
That's right.
Did you want to discuss the pageant? Is that why I'm here? Or is this what you wanted to discuss?
This.
Well, I feel a little uncomfortable.
Why?
Why do you think? Something about your tone?
I prefer a discussion of fact rather than tone.
Well, if I had judged my conversation with Donald Muller to be of concern to you, sister, I would have sat you down and talked to you about it. But I did not judge it to be of concern to you.
Perhaps you are mistaken in your understanding of what concerns me. This boy is in my school, and his well-being is my responsibility.
His well-being is not an issue.
I'm not satisfied that that is true. He was upset when he returned to class.
Did he say something?
No.
What happened in the rectory?
Happened? Nothing happened. I had a talk with a boy.
What about?
It was a private matter.
He's 12 years old. What could be private?
I'll say it again, sister. I object to your tone.
This is not about my tone or your tone, Father Flynn. It's about arriving at the truth.
Of what?
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You're controlling the expression on your face right now, aren't you?
My face? You asked me to discuss the pageant, sister. That's why I'm here. Am I to understand that you brought me to your office to confront me in some way? That's outrageous. I'm not answerable to you. What exactly are you accusing me of?
I'm not accusing you of anything, Father Flynn. I'm asking you to tell me what happened in the rectory.
I do not wish to continue this conversation at all further. And if you're dissatisfied with that, sister, I suggest you speak to Monsignor Benedict. I can only imagine that your unfortunate behavior this morning is the result of overwork. Perhaps you need a leave of absence. I might suggest it. Have a good morning.
Good morning, Father.
There was alcohol on his breath when he returned from his meeting with you.
Alcohol.
I did smell it on his breath.
Well,
Can't you just let this alone?
no.
I see there's no way out of this.
Take your time, Father. Would you like some more tea?
You should have let it alone.
Not possible.
Donald Muller served as altar boy last Tuesday morning. After Mass, Mr. McGinn caught him in the sacristy drinking altar wine. When I found out, I sent for the boy. There were tears. He begged me not to remove him from the altar, and I took pity on him. I told him that if no one else found out, I would let him stay on.
What a relief! That explains everything. Thanks be to God. Look, sister, it was all a mistake.
And if I talk to Mr. McGinn?
Well, talk to Mr. McGinn, by all means. But now that the boy's secret's out, I'm going to have to remove him. Which is too bad, really. That is exactly what I was trying to avoid.
You were trying to protect the boy.
That's right.
I might have done the same thing. Sister, is there any way that Donald could stay on the altar boys?
No. If the boy drank altar wine, he could not continue as an altar boy.
Of course you're right, sister. I'm just not the disciplinarian that you are. Oh, and he is the only Negro student. That did affect my thinking on the matter. It will be commented on that he's no longer serving at Mass. It's a public thing. And a certain ignorant element in the parish is going to be confirmed in their beliefs.
He must be held to the same standard as the others.
Of course. Did you want to discuss the pageant, or was that
This was the issue.
Very well, then. I'll be going. I have some writing to do.
Intolerance.
That's right. I'm not pleased with how you handled this, sister. The next time you are troubled by dark ideas, I suggest you speak to the Monsignor.
Well, what a relief. He cleared it all up.
You believe him.
Of course.
Isn't it that it's easier to believe him?
But we can corroborate his story with Mr. McGinn.
Yes, these types of people are clever. They're not so easily undone.
Well, I'm convinced.
You're not. You just want things to be resolved so you can have simplicity back.
I want no further part of this.
I will bring him down, with or without your help.
How can you be so sure he's lying?
Experience.
You just don't like him. You don't like it that he uses a ballpoint pen. You don't like it that he takes 3 lumps of sugar in his tea. You don't like that he likes Frosty the Snowman. And you're letting that convince you of something terrible, just terrible. Well, I like Frosty the Snowman. And it'd be nice if this school weren't run like a prison. And I think it's a good thing that I love to teach history, and that I might inspire my students to love it too. And if you take that to mean that I'm not fit to be a teacher, then so be it.
Sit down. In ancient Sparta, important matters were decided by who shouted loudest. Unfortunately, we are not in ancient Sparta. Now, do you honestly find the students in this school to be treated like inmates in a prison?
No, I don't. Actually, by and large, they seem to be fairly happy. But they are all uniformly terrified of you.
Yes, that's how it works. Sit there. Hello, this is Sister Aloysius Bouvier, principal of St. Nicholas School. Is this Mrs. Muller? I'm calling about your son, Donald. I'd like you and your husband to come down here for a talk. When would be convenient?
a woman was gossiping with a friend about a man she hardly knew. I know none of you have ever done this. And that night, she had a dream. A great hand appeared over her and pointed down at her. She was immediately seized with an overwhelming sense of guilt. The next day, she went to confession. She got the old parish priest, Father O'Rourke, and she told him the whole thing. Was gossiping a sin? She asked the old man. Was it the hand of God Almighty pointing a finger down at me? Should I be asking her absolution? Father, tell me, have I done something wrong? Yes, he answered. Yes, you ignorant, badly brought up female. You have borne false witness against your neighbor. You have played fast and loose with his reputation, and you should be heartily ashamed. So, she said she was sorry and asked forgiveness. Not so fast. I want you to go home. Take a pillow up on your roof and cut it open with a knife, then return here to me. So she went home, took a pillow off her bed, a knife from the drawer ran up the fire escape to the roof, and stabbed the pillow. Then she returned to the old priest as instructed. Did you gut the pillow with the knife? He asked. Oh, yes, Father. And what was the result? Feathers, she answered. Feathers, he repeated. Feathers everywhere, Father. Now, I want you to go back and gather up every last feather that flew out on the wind. Well, she said, it can't be done. I don't know where they all went. The wind took them all over. And that, said Father O'Rourke, is gossip. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Good morning, Sister James.
Good morning, Father Flynn.
What is that bird complaining about? What kind of bird is that? Is that a starling? A grackle?
A crow?
Of course it is. Are you praying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm not praying, no.
You seem subdued.
Oh. I can't sleep.
Why not?
Bad dreams. Actually, one bad dream, and I haven't slept right since.
What about?
I looked in a mirror, and there was a darkness where my face should be. It frightened me.
I can't sleep on occasion.
No. Do you see that big hand pointing a finger at you?
Yes. Sometimes.
Was your sermon directed at anyone in particular?
What do you think?
Did you make up the story about the pillow?
Yes. You make up little stories to illustrate in the tradition of the parable.
Aren't the things that actually happen in life more worthy of interpretation than a made-up story?
No. What actually happens in life is beyond interpretation. The truth makes for a bad sermon. It tends to be confusing and have no clear conclusion.
I received a letter from my brother in Maryland yesterday. He's very sick.
Perhaps you should go and see him.
I can't leave my class.
How is Donald Muller doing?
I don't know.
You don't see him?
I see him every day, but I don't know how he's doing. I don't know how to judge these things now.
I stopped speaking to him for fear of it being misunderstood. Isn't that a shame? I actually avoided him when I might have passed him the other day in the hall. He doesn't understand why. I noticed you didn't come to me for confession.
No, I went to Monsignor Benedict. He's very kind.
I wasn't?
It wasn't that. As you know why.
You're against me.
No.
You're not convinced?
It's not for me to be convinced, one way or the other. It's Sister Aloysius.
Are you just an extension of her?
She's my superior.
But what about you?
I wish I knew nothing whatever about it. I wish the idea had never entered my mind.
And how did it enter your mind?
Sister Aloysius.
I feel as if my reputation has been damaged through no fault of my own. But I'm reluctant to take the steps necessary to repair it for fear of doing further harm. It's frustrating. I can tell you that.
Is it true?
What?
You know what I'm asking.
No. It's not true.
I don't know what to believe.
How can you take sides against me?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I've done nothing wrong. There's no substance to any of this. The most innocent actions can appear sinister to the poisoned mind. I had to throw that poor boy off the altar. He's devastated. The only reason I haven't gone to the Monsignor is I don't want to tear apart the school. Sister Aloysius would most certainly lose her position as principal if I made her accusations known. Since they're baseless, you might lose your place as well.
Are you threatening me?
What do you take me for? No.
I want to believe you.
Then do. It's as simple as that.
It's not me that has to be convinced.
I don't have to prove anything to her.
She is determined.
To what?
Protect the boy.
It's me that cares about the boy, not her. Has she ever reached out a hand to that child? Or any child in this school? She's like a block of ice. Children need warmth, kindness, understanding. What does she give them? Rules. That black boy needs a helping hand or he is not going to make it here. But if she has her way, he'll be left to his own undoing. Why do you think he was in the sacristy drinking wine that day? He's in trouble. She sees me talk in a human way to these children, and she assumes there has to be something wrong with it, something dirty. Well, I am not going to let her keep this parish in the dark ages, and I am not going to let her destroy my spirit of compassion.
I'm sure that's not her intent.
I care about this congregation.
I know you do.
Like you care about your class. You love them, don't you?
Yes.
That's natural. How else would you relate to children? I can look at your face and know your philosophy. Kindness.
I don't know. I mean, of course.
What is Sister Aloysius' philosophy, do you suppose?
I don't have to suppose. She's told me. She discourages warmth. She suggested I be more formal.
There are people who go after your humanity, Sister James, who tell you that the light in your heart is a weakness. That your soft feelings betray you? I don't believe that. It's an old tactic of cruel people to kill kindness in the name of virtue. Don't believe it. There is nothing wrong with love.
Of course not, but...
Have you forgotten? That was the message of the Savior to us all. Love. Not suspicion, disapproval, and judgment. Love of people. Have you found Sister Aloysius a positive inspiration?
I don't want to misspeak, but no. She's taken away my joy of teaching. And I love teaching more than anything.
It's all right. You're going to be all right.
I feel as if everything is upside down.
It isn't, though. There are just times in life when we feel lost. You're not alone with it. It happens to many of us.
A bond. I'd better go in.
I'm sorry. Your brother is ill.
Thank you, Father. I don't believe it.
You don't?
No.
Thank you, sister. That's a great relief to me. Thank you very much. Oh, be quiet.
Hello? Excuse me?
Mrs. Muller?
Yes.
Come in. Please sit down.
I thought I might have the wrong day when you didn't answer the door.
Yes, well, just between us. I was listening to this transistor radio with an earpiece. Look how tiny they're making them now. I confiscated it from one of my students, and now I can't stop using it.
You like music?
Not really. News reports. Years ago, I used to listen to all the news reports because my husband was in Italy in the war. When I came into possession of this tiny radio, I found myself doing it again, though there is no war and the voices have changed.
You were a married woman?
Yes, but then he was killed. Is your husband coming?
He couldn't get off work.
I see. Of course, it was a lot to ask.
How's Donald doing?
He's passing his subjects. He has average grades.
Oh, good. He was upset about getting taken off the altar boys.
Did he explain why?
He said he was caught drinking wine.
Then that is the reason.
Well, that seems fair, but he's a good boy, sister. He fell down there, but he's a good boy, pretty much down the line. And he knows what an opportunity he has here. I think the whole thing was just a bit much for him.
What do you mean, the whole thing?
He's the only colored boy here. He's the first in this school. That would be a lot for a boy.
I suppose it is. But he has to do the work, of course.
He is doing it though, right?
Yes. He's getting by. He's getting through. How is he at home?
His father beat the hell out of him over that wine.
He shouldn't do that.
You don't tell my husband what to do. You just stand back. He did not want Donald to come here.
Why not?
Thought he would have a lot of troubles with the other boys. But that hasn't really happened as far as I can make out.
Good.
That priest, Father Flynn, has been watching out for him.
Yes. Have you met Father Flynn?
Not exactly, no. I've seen him on the altar, but I haven't met him face to face. You know, just heard from Donald.
What does he say?
You know, Father Flynn. He looks up to him. The man gives him his time, which is what the boy needs. He needs that.
Mrs. Muller, we may have a problem.
Well, I thought you must have a reason for asking me to come in. Principal is a big job. If you stop your day to talk to me, must be something. I just want to say, though, it's just until June.
Excuse me?
Whatever the problem is, Donald just has to make it here until June. Then he's off into high school.
Right.
If Donald can graduate from here, he has a better chance of getting into a good high school. And that will mean an opportunity at college. I believe he has the intelligence. And he wants it to.
I don't see anything at this time standing in the way of his graduating with his class.
Well, that's all I care about. Anything else is all right with me.
I doubt that.
Try me.
I'm concerned about the relationship between Father Flynn and your son.
You don't say. Concerned? What do you mean, concerned?
That it may not be right.
Uh-huh. Well, there is something wrong with everybody, isn't that so? Got to be forgiving.
I'm concerned, to be frank, that Father Flynn may have made advances on your son.
May have made?
I can't be certain.
No evidence?
No.
Then maybe there is nothing to it.
I think there is something to it.
I would prefer not to see it that way if you don't mind.
I understand this is hard to hear. I think Father Flynn gave Donald that altar wine.
Why would he do that?
Has Donald been acting strangely?
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
It's him himself.
All right.
Look, sister, I don't want any trouble. And I feel like you're on the march somehow.
I don't think you completely understand.
I think I understand the kind of thing you are talking about. But I don't want to get into it.
What's that?
Not to be disagreeing with you, but if you are talking about something floating around between this priest and my son, that's not my son's fault.
I'm not suggesting it is.
It's just a boy.
I know.
12 years old. If somebody should be taking blame for anything, that should be the man, not the boy.
I agree with you completely.
You agree with me, but I'm sitting in a principal office talking about my son. Why is not the priest in the principal office if you know what I'm saying? You will excuse my bringing it up?
You're here because I'm concerned about Donald's welfare.
You think I'm not?
Of course you are.
Let me ask you something. You honestly think that priest gave Donald that wine to drink?
Yes, I do.
Then how come my son got thrown out of the altar boys if it was a man that gave it to him?
The boy got caught. The man didn't.
How come the priest then get thrown out of the priesthood then?
He's a grown man. Educated. And he knows what's at stake. It's not so easy to pin someone like that down.
So you give my son the blame? No problem my son getting blamed and punished? That's easy. You know what that is?
Perhaps you should let me talk. I think you're getting upset.
That's because that's the way it is, sister. You are just finding out about it. But that's the way it is, and that's the way it's been. You are not going against no man in the world and win. He's got the position.
And he's got your son.
Then let him have him.
What?
It's just until June.
Do you know what you're saying?
I know more about it than you.
I believe this man is creating or has already brought about an improper relationship with your son.
I don't know.
I know I'm right.
Why you need to know something like that for sure when you don't? Please, sister. You got some kind of righteous cause going with this priest, and now you want to drag my boy into it? My son doesn't need additional difficulties. Let him take the good, and leave the rest when he leaves this place in June. He knows how to do that. I taught him how to do that.
What kind of mother are you?
Excuse me, but you don't know enough about life to say things like that.
I know enough.
You know the rules, maybe, but that doesn't cover it.
I know what I won't accept.
You accept what you have to accept, and you work with it. That's the truth I know. Sorry to be so sharp, but you are here in this moment.
This man is in my school.
Well, he has to be somewhere, and maybe he's doing some good too. You ever think of that?
He's after the boys.
Well, maybe some of them boys want to get caught. Maybe what you don't know, maybe it's my son is that way. That's why his father beat him up. Not the wine. He beat Donald for being what he is.
What are you telling me?
I am his mother. I'm talking about his nature now, not anything he has done. But you cannot hold a child responsible for what God gave him to be.
Listen to me with care, Mrs. Muller. I'm only interested in actions. It's hopeless to discuss a child's possible inclination. I'm finding it difficult enough to address a man's deeds. This is not about what the boy may be, but what the man is. It's about the man.
But there is the boy's nature.
Let's leave that out of it.
Forget it then. You are the one forcing people to say these things out loud. Things are in the air and you live in there alone if you can. That's why I know. My boy came to this school because God had killed him at the public school. So we're lucky enough to get him in here for his last year. Good. His father don't like him. He comes here. The kids don't like him. One man is good to him. This priest puts out a hand to the boy. Does the man have his reasons? Yes. Everybody has their reasons. You have your reasons. But do you ask the man why he's good to my son? No. I don't care why. My son needs some man to care about him and see him through to where he wants to go. And thank God, this educated man with some kindness in him wants to do just that.
This will not do.
It's just until June. Sometimes things are not black and white.
And sometimes they are. I'll throw your son out of the school, make no mistake.
Why would you do that if nothing started with him?
Because I will stop this whatever way I must.
You will hurt my son to get your way?
It won't end with your son. There'll be others if there aren't already.
To the priest out there!
I'm trying to do just that!
What do you want from me?
Nothing. As it turns out, I was hoping you might know something that would help me, but it seems you don't.
Please, sister. Leave my son out of this. My husband would kill that child over things like this.
I'll try.
I don't know, sister. You may think you are doing good, but the world is a hard place. I don't know if you and me are on the same side. I will be standing with my son, and those who are good with my son. It will be nice to see you there. Nice talking with you, sister. Good morning.
May I come in?
We would require a third party.
What was Donald's mother doing here?
We were having a chat.
About what?
A third party is truly required, Father.
No, sister, no third party. You and me are due for a talk. You have to stop this campaign against me.
You can stop it at any time.
How?
Confess and resign.
You are attempting to destroy my reputation. But the result of all of this is going to be your removal, not mine.
What are you doing in this school?
I am trying to do good.
Or more to the point, what are you doing in the priesthood?
You are single-handedly holding this parish back.
From what?
Progressive education and a welcoming church.
You can't distract me, Father Flynn. This isn't about my behavior, it's about yours.
It's about your unfounded suspicions.
That's right. I have suspicions.
Do you know what I haven't understood through all of this? Why do you suspect me? What have I done?
You gave that boy wine to drink and you let him take the blame.
That is completely untrue. Did you talk to Mr. McGinn?
All McGinn knows is the boy drank wine. He doesn't know how he came to drink it.
Did his mother have anything to add?
No.
So that's it. There's nothing there.
I'm not satisfied.
Well, if you're not satisfied, ask the boy then.
No, he'd protect you. That's what he's been doing.
And why would he do that?
Because you have seduced him.
You're insane. You've got it in your head that I've corrupted this child after giving him wine to drink, and nothing I say will change that.
That's right.
But correct me if I'm wrong. This isn't about the wine, not really. You've had a fundamental mistrust of me since before this incident. It was you that warned Sister James to be on the lookout, wasn't it?
That's true.
So you admit it.
Certainly.
Why?
I know people.
That's not good enough.
It won't have to be.
Oh, and how's that?
You will tell me what you've done.
Oh, I will.
Yes.
I'm not one of your truant boys, you know. Sister James is convinced I'm innocent.
So you spoke with Sister James? Well, of course you spoke with Sister James.
Did you know that Donald's father beats him?
Yes.
And might that not account for the odd behavior Sister James noticed in the boy?
It might.
Then what was it? What did you see? What did you hear that convinced you so thoroughly?
What does it matter?
I want to know!
On the first day of the school year, I saw you touch William London's wrist, and I saw him pull away.
That's all?
That was all.
But that's nothing.
What are you writing now?
You leave me no choice. I'm writing down what you say. I tend to get too flustered during the course of an upsetting conversation, and this may be important when I have to speak to the Monsignor and explain why you have to be removed as principal of this school.
This morning, before I spoke with Mrs. Muller, I took the precaution of calling the last parish to which you were assigned.
And what did he say?
Who?
The pastor.
I did not speak to the pastor. I spoke to one of the nuns.
You should have spoken to the pastor.
I spoke to a nun.
That's not the proper route for you to have taken, sister. The church is very clear. You are to go through the pastor.
Why? Do you have an understanding, you and he? Father Flynn, you have a history.
You have no right to go rummaging through my past.
This is your third parish in 5 years.
Call the pastor and ask him why I left. It was perfectly innocent.
I'm not calling the pastor.
I am a good priest.
You will go after another child and another until you are stopped.
What nun did you speak to?
I won't say.
I've not touched a child.
You have.
You haven't the slightest proof of anything.
But I have my certainty. In arms with that, I will go to your last parish and the one before that. I will find a parent, Father Flynn. Trust me, I will. A parent who probably doesn't know you are still working with children. And once I do that, you will be exposed. You may even be attacked, metaphorically or otherwise.
You have no right to go act on your own. You are a member of a religious order. You have taken vows, obedience being one. You answer to us. You have no right to step outside the church.
I will step outside the church if that's what needs to be done. Though the door should shut behind me, I will do what needs to be done, Father, if that means I am damned to hell. You should understand that, or you will mistake me. Now, did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
Have you never done anything wrong?
I have.
Mortal sin?
Yes.
And?
I confessed it. Did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
Whatever I have done, I have left in the healing hands of my confessor. As have you. We are the same.
We are not the same. A dog that bites is a dog that bites. I do not justify what I do wrong and go on. I admit it, desist, and take my medicine. Did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
No.
Mental reservation?
No.
You lie. Very well then. If you won't leave my office, I will. And once I go, I will not stop.
Wait!
You will request a transfer from this parish. You will take a leave of absence until it is granted.
And do what? For the love of God, my life is here.
Don't.
Please. Are we people? Am I not flesh and blood like you, or are we just ideas and convictions? I can't say everything. Don't you understand that? There are things I can't say. Even if you can't imagine the explanation, sister, there are circumstances beyond your knowledge. In the spirit of charity, I appeal to you. On behalf of my life's work, you have to behave responsibly. I put myself in your hands.
I don't want you.
My reputation is at stake.
You can preserve your reputation.
If you say these things, I won't be able to continue my work in the community.
Your work in the community should be discontinued.
You'd leave me with nothing.
That's not true. It's Donald Muller who has nothing, and you took full advantage of that.
I care about that child very much.
Because you smile at him and sympathize with him and talk to him as if you were the same.
That child needed a friend.
You are a cheat. That warm feeling you experienced when that boy looked at you with trust was not the sensation of virtue. It can be gotten by a drunkard from his tot of rum. You are a disgrace to the collar. The only reason you haven't been thrown out of the church is the decline in vocations.
I can fight you.
You will lose.
You can't know that.
I know.
Where's your compassion?
Nowhere you can get at it. Stay here. Compose yourself. Use the phone if you'd like. Good day, Father. I have no sympathy for you. I know you're invulnerable to true regret. And cut your nails.
Hello, yes. This is Father Brendan Flynn of St. Nicholas Parish. I need to make an appointment to see the bishop.
Good morning, Sister Aloysius.
Good morning, Sister James. How is your brother?
Better, much better.
I'm very glad. I prayed for him.
It was good to get away. I needed to see my family. It had been too long.
Then I'm glad you did it.
And Father Flynn is gone.
Yes.
Where?
St. Jerome's.
So you did it. You got him out.
Yes.
Donald Muller is heartbroken that he's gone.
Can't be helped. It's just until June.
I don't think Father Flynn did anything wrong.
No? He convinced you?
Yes, he did. Did you ever prove it?
What?
That he interfered with Donald Muller?
Did I ever prove it to whom?
Anyone but yourself.
No.
But you were sure.
Yes.
I wish I could be like you.
Why?
Because I can't sleep at night anymore. Everything seems uncertain to me.
Maybe we're not supposed to sleep so well. They've made Father Flynn the pastor at St. Jerome.
Who?
The bishop. Appointed Father Flynn the pastor of St. Jerome Church and School. It's a promotion.
You didn't tell them.
I told our good Monsignor Benedict. I crossed the garden and told him. He did not believe it to be true.
So why did Father Flynn leave? What did you say to him to make him go?
That I had spoken to a nun in his previous parish, that I had found out his prior history of infringements.
So you did prove it?
I was lying. I made no such call.
You lied?
Yes. But if he had no such history, the lie wouldn't have worked. His resignation was his confession. He was what I thought he was, and now he's gone.
I can't believe you lied.
In the pursuit of wrongdoing, one steps away from God. Of course, there's a price.
I see. So now he's at another school.
Yes. Oh, Sister James.
What is it, sister?
I have doubts. I have such doubts.
Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I've got to beware. I think it's time to stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on.